All right, folks, welcome back to the Be the Bright podcast presented by Ridge Supply. My name is Matt Hawkins. I'm the owner of Ridge Supply, and with me here is Mr. Jordan Spoon. He's the man behind our Instagram account for Ridge Supply Arsenal, which is our ambassador group. This is episode 10. We got 10 episodes, man. This is crazy. Just answering questions from Arsenal members who have submitted questions to us. Jordan has these questions. I don't know which questions he's going to ask me, but he's going to ask some questions, and we're gonna cover them here. We're on YouTube and also on Spotify and Anchor as well, so you can watch this on video. You can do it on a podcast. You can do whatever you want. We appreciate you following us along. Subscribe, share it with some friends, whatever we need to do. And
can't wait to get feedback and get more out there and answer more questions and show off more of the product or whatever it may be where we go from here.
Yeah, man. So tell us who's asking this question, and let us know verbatim what they ask.
So on the last one, we kind of talked about some of your partnerships and collabs you've done with people. So I think this will be a good transition for you. Justin wrote in and asked, where/how are the socks made?
Okay.
It's a short question, but I feel like a long answer.
There's a big answer there. I'll give it to you. I think everyone subconsciously, I think everyone knows this, and it's just a fact. And the reality is they don't, and which is fine. And so it's a really good question, and it's kind of a cool question. It's really a big part of the brand story, how it started. So, our socks are made at Defeat, and Defeat International is in Hildebrand, North Carolina, which is about 5.5 hours away from me. But here in North Carolina, the domestic production of hosiery products, meaning hose and socks and footwear stuff, is still alive and well in Western North Carolina and has survived, which is a testament to that area. A lot of that production, apparel production, had left and been outsourced overseas. The hosiery market has stayed there. When I was coming up on the 15th of September we're going to call it Be the Bright Day from now on, because why not? But that was the day I was actually hit by a pickup truck in 2014. And because I was on the side of the road and ended up in the hospital with a broken pelvis and busted up left side everywhere, I was not allowed to put pressure on my left side on my foot. My foot wasn't allowed to touch the ground for a long time. And my wife, the doctor suggested that maybe I don't wear a shoe or something, but maybe wear a bright sock on that foot to remind myself not to put my foot down. So my wife brought a pair of high-vis orange Defeat socks to the hospital. And so I put them on, and I probably had I had a personal Instagram account, and I probably had, 20 followers back then, and I had tagged Defeat. And at the time there was, I didn't know this at the time, but the person on the other end of the Defeat Instagram account, they also didn't have many followers at all, but they liked it, and they were commenting, and and here I was, this guy that they don't know, but I'm in a hospital, and I'm on crutches at home, and I'm rehabbing, and I kept tagging them. It was that early, it's a lot of that thing that, it's how you and I got to know each other.
Yeah.
It's my wife and I were just talking about this the other day. We love the band Need to Breathe, and we went and saw them, and we took a picture and tagged them at being in this concert. And then later that night, they replied back. We were ecstatic that the people in the band were in their tour bus, working Instagram, just the fact that there's this connection there with Defeat was kind of cool. Well, I got to know the owner is Shane Cooper, and he wanted me to come out and take a tour of the factory. And I thought that was a really cool opportunity. So I had a work obligation out there a couple months after I had rehabbed and was able to ride. And I went out there and we rode together. We took a tour of the factory, and he even did an interview with me, like a video interview, which they used. I was like their high vis poster child.
It still pops up every now and then.
It's up there.
I still see it on the Feet's website from time to time.
And this was before Ridge Supply was a thing. I didn't make any socks, but I got to see, I was like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, like I loved their stuff and the colors and all this stuff. And I got to go behind the scenes and see the knitting and see the process and all that. And the thing I left there was like, I could do this, not like I could have a brand, but like I could make a sock and I could probably sell it to friends or something like that. I didn't know what, but I just knew, I knew you had to make 72 pair, and I could probably figure that out. And I knew about what they cost and about what they could sell for. And I'm like, well, maybe you could, make enough money if you sold them to like do it again. That was kind of what I thought. So anyway, when it came time for me to design the sock, the reason I designed the sock in general was because I was doing research about the fact that what is visibility on the bike. And POC had done some research that I can't say it's scientific, but it was out there. POC was new to the US, and it just started sponsoring Slipstream or whatever it was called at the time. And they had is it Slipstream? I can't even remember, but
I think it was
whatever they were called back then, Team Argyle, whatever. And Ben King was on that team, and I reached out to him because I knew him from when he was a kid, and I was like, hey, do you all have extra helmets? Because you couldn't find them anywhere in the US. They just weren't available. And of course I have a big head. They didn't have one. I couldn't find one. I ended up getting one somewhere online and on eBay or something like that. And it came in and it was cool, but I started doing research, and they had all this research about blocked color and about visibility at a distance. And then I started to realize okay, you needed bright colors with normal colors and at a distance when you're riding and you're moving your feet. But that's biomotion, and biomotion is the thing that you recognize as a person that, hey, that's another person. And not just a road sign or a whatever. And so that research, coupled with the fact that Defeat was already doing high vis, made me realize okay, if I design a sock that has some block color in it, then nothing else was doing that at the time. But would I be producing something that was functionally worked, and then B was kind of cool? So that's how that all started. What has been fascinating is as a business, I started with this product that I think they started making the aerator in 92. And I mean, they've made some changes to it, but functionally it just works. It is the best cycling sock that you can buy. There are other socks out there. They're coming out with socks that say they're this and they say they're that. I mean, these socks work. I own a pair that's over 20 years old. I know Jordan has some that are. I was going to say,
16. I've got some pairs that are easily 15 or 16 years old that I have worn, raced, rode, ran. Yes. I mean, hiked in, anything you can think of, and they're still holding up.
And so, a couple things. I'm so fortunate to have a made in the USA, done really well, environmentally conscious, recycled where it can be recycled. The manufacturer is here. It's sourced locally as it possibly can be. They're shipping it to me the next day, and so what's awesome from a production standpoint is that really helps a small business like me get a product within an hour. I've ripped the box open, put it on my foot, taken a picture, gotten it online, and started selling it. That is cool. And the fact that they do such a good job, it's just customer service and quality is not an issue for me at all. Yeah, people have socks that get holes in them because they either have a Talon toe that's like cut through it, or it's a knit product. Sometimes there's a hole, but it's like I've sold a lot of socks. I probably had 10, legit like issues. Yeah. And it's like, and what's funny is when people see that, they're like, these are a defect. And I'm like, no, let me just send you a sock, and I just send them a new sock and everybody's happy. That is awesome. So Defeat has done a really good job. Weirdly though, I will say too, and they would probably admit to this, Defeat is an interesting partner because they are a competitor. They do what I do on a retail level. They have an online shop. They sell to distribution. They sell to shops all over the place, and they have their own designs. Very early on, they asked me to do the artist series, and they didn't exist at the time, and I was a little hesitant, but they ended up selling 5 of the designs that I would give them to say like, okay, these are my designs, but you can sell them in your distribution network. And they did that for like 4 years, and we just stopped this year. So they no longer can do that. But that was a great way for people to like come to the brand just at a random bike shop somewhere that I wasn't actually selling through. And that's helped for sure spread the word, which is cool. And Defeat is they're a great testament. Shane is that guy who did a lot like what I'm doing, which is like had a crazy idea, started something, and then it's grown and grown and grown. I mean, his dad was a hosiery machine repair guy, and he gave him an old machine, and if he could fix it, he could do it. And Shane kind of reverse engineered the way the sock is, and that's how the aerator came. And I may be paraphrasing that, but like that same kind of just had a wild idea, ran with it, and so he's always been a person I've looked up to as a peer and as a an inspiration to. And I'm glad that they make my product. So that's where the socks are made.
I guess that really says where, and the how. We can dive into the how and the construction of the sock. That's probably its own episode, because you and I have talked about doing that at some point. But that probably answers Justin's question.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Justin. Made in the USA. Use recycled water bottles to make them. We don't even put the plastic hangers on them anymore. And we really try to make sure that, you're buying a new product, and we don't want to just be consumer, but the impact of those socks is very small considering what it could be. And so we're proud of that, and we thank Defeat for holding up their end of that bargain. So Perfect. Episode 10 episodes of the Be the Bright podcast. If you want to subscribe, hit this button down here.
We need like one of the big balloons behind us for saying 10, because we're 10 down.
I know. We haven't even launched this yet, and we got 10 of these in the can.
Nobody's even seen them, and we're already 10 in the hole.
I know. But that's the plan. The plan is not to like make you wait forever to get it done. We're going to get it cranked, but we're almost at our time limit. So I'm going to shut it down. Thank you so much, Jordan, for your time. Thank you, Justin, for your question, and we'll see you on episode 11.